What's up, guys? This is Damien with Hash Online, and today we're going to finally get into our overview of the Galaxy Nexus. I'm sorry, not Galaxy Nexus. The Nexus 7 from Google and Asus. The Nexus 7 is a great tablet, guys. I'm gonna just let you know that from the jump. As you can see, the hardware it feels really more expensive than the $199 price that it costs. You got this like metal band that goes around the whole device, but they have been having quality issues also, though, with the glass raising above the metal band. I actually have a small problem with that myself. I don't know if that's enough for me to return the device because it's really a small cosmetic problem, and I'm not really thinking I'm gonna exchange that. Plus, there's a fix that you can do yourself for it. But some quick specs. This has a 3.5mm headphone jack at the bottom, which I really love because I don't know if you play a lot of games or use your tablet a lot like me. When it's at the top, it tends to hit your hands or whatever when you have it in landscape mode, and so I like that they place it at the bottom. Micro USB charging port, volume rocker, and power button both on the upper right hand side. I like that also. The Nexus 7 features a wonderful user interface in Jelly Bean Android version 4.1.1, which I think so far is the greatest version of Android to date. There's plenty of useful features such as Google Now and Project Butter. I also really like the notifications panel that comes down and now doesn't consume your whole screen. Now it gives you, you can still view things behind it, so it's just like in the middle. I also like a lot of the widgets that they have now. So you have widgets from my library, as you can see there, and you also have a similar widget for my music. And I like this because the My Library groups all of your Play Store purchases, such as your Google Music, your magazines, your books, and let's face it, if you get a 7-inch tablet, the 7-inch tablet is perfect, and I mean 100% perfect for reading, for playing games, for a long time of usage. I spend hours and hours sometimes on my tablet, whether doing research for a project that I'm working on, or just in general media consumption, which the 7-inch form factor is perfect for. Another big plus that I love about the 7-inch form factor is that you can actually take that with you. With a 10.1-inch tablet, it's really big. I mean, you almost have to have a bag, like you're dealing with a laptop in order to be able to carry it around places. With the 7-inch form factor, I mean, if you don't have a case on it, you can throw that bad boy in your pocket and just go about your day. And it doesn't feel awkward pulling that out in front of people and using. I mean, you really feel more comfortable in public with a 7-inch form factor, or at least I do. This tablet is also very light. It only weighs about 340 grams, and it almost feels like a light paperback in your hand. So once again, for you guys who are big readers like me, it's the perfect form factor for reading. I really love 7-inch tablets. I've been rocking a 10.1-inch tablet for a while now, and I had the Nook Color before this, and I didn't realize how much I missed that 7-inch form factor. And yeah, 10-inch screen is better for watching movies, and you would think, but that the weight of a 10-inch tablet, it wears down on you. Like after 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 plus minutes of holding that tablet, eventually you feel the weight of it. And this thing's very light, very it's the perfect size. Video consumption, it still is a great size. I mean, even when holding this thing in landscape mode with both hands, it just feels so much more natural than a 10-inch screen. And this is all personal preference. Some of you guys, maybe you love a 10.1-inch form factor. I actually don't mind a 10-inch form factor. I just prefer the 7-inch versus the 10-inch. And the screen that's on this Nexus 7, it's a 1280 by 800 HD IPS display, which is it's a magnificent display. The one fault I would have with it is it's a little dark to me. Even with the brightness all the way up, it seems like I wish that I could increase the brightness just a little bit more when watching movies or playing games, especially really dark games like Dead Trigger, some of these horror games that are out. It just seems like it's just a little small amount too dark for me. But other than that, it's a perfect screen. The colors pop out. Everything looks natural. I really don't have any other complaints other than that, and that's a small complaint, really, if you think about it. At Google I/O, Google did a lot of updates to their core apps: YouTube, Google Plus, Google Music, Maps, Google Earth, etc., etc. And you can really see why they decided to update some of these apps when you're dealing with the Nexus 7 and using these apps. They look wonderful on the Nexus 7. I mean, really, what more can you do to make an app look beautiful on a tablet than some of the design changes that Google has implemented for their Jelly Bean version of some of their apps? I mean, Google Plus, it goes into like a 2 layout mode where you have posts above and below, and then maybe broken up by a few larger posts. It looks really good. But so far, I'm enjoying. It's a very good tablet for media consumption, any type of media. If you're trying to read, you're trying to watch movies, you're trying to play games, you just want to enjoy the Android things that you've purchased, or that you like to do on your phone, having a 7-inch tablet in the Nexus 7 is just going to be absolutely wonderful for you. You really won't be disappointed. The Nexus 7 features a NVIDIA Tegra 3 quad-core processor and a 12-core GPU. It also has a 4325 milliamp per hour battery, which Google quotes at up to 8 hours of active use. I can definitely vouch for the 8 hours of active use. I've actually had the tablet extend further past the 8 hours in usual usage with the tablet. So definitely really good with battery life. Although for the price, sometimes with the Nexus 7, because it's $199, you have to keep that in mind, because we've gotten really spoiled with the battery life so far. With the Samsung Galaxy S3 and the Evo 4G LTE, I'm actually anywhere from 10 to 17 hours depending on my usage on either one of those phones. So for a tablet to only have 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours, that's not bad. But you would think that that's such a big battery that it would it would have a little bit better battery life than the phone devices. But for $199, that I definitely won't complain. If this thing was $599, $499, $399, maybe. But for $199, it's perfect. That's fine, because unlike a phone, you're going to need your phone all the time. Whereas a tablet, you're not going to need your tablet all the time for 8 to 10 hours at a time. It's just not gonna happen. I also like the fact that while Google doesn't include a rear-facing camera, they do include a front-facing camera. And the front-facing camera, it's not the best camera that you can get on a device, but it definitely does the job. If you're big into Instagram or any of the other photo sharing websites, or if you're somewhere and you just have your Nexus 7 tablet, I don't know why, but and you want to capture a picture, it'll do the job. And it also video records, and actually, even which one thing I think that's very cool, a front-facing camera that has a panoramic mode, which is really interesting to me. I don't really see why you would want to do a panorama on this tablet, but hey, if you wanted to, you have the option. And it also features a new Jelly Bean camera interface. So if you pinch out, then it will take you to all of your pictures, and then you can go back to the camera just from swiping left and right, which is it's pretty awesome. In effect, it's really easy to use, and it's definitely a step up, which Jelly Bean is just a step up from Ice Cream Sandwich. It's not major. It's not like, oh my gosh, this is like such a huge major leap from Ice Cream Sandwich, but it's a step forward in all the right places that Google needed to take Android. I feel, at least this is definitely the greatest version of Android. Okay, now to talk about what, there's two things that I feel like the Nexus 7 does more awesome than any other tablet. They're a reading, because the 7-inch form factor is almost like holding a book in your hand. And the next thing is gaming. Uh, like I said before, the Nexus 7 features a NVIDIA quad-core Tegra 3 chip and with a 12-core GPU. And with having a NVIDIA chip, you have the access to the Tegra Zone. The Tegra Zone is the most matured gaming platform on Android. Qualcomm, they're working on theirs. I think even Samsung is working on theirs, and then of course Sony with the Xperia line and the PlayStation certified games. But the Tegra store has awesome games, and it seems like it's just a non-stop flow of games. If you visit the Tegra Zone app, you'll see like there's so many games that are optimized for the Tegra quad core chip that are coming up or are out already that you can never get bored with gaming. And this thing is a gaming beast. Graphics look, I mean, I have an Xbox 360, a PlayStation 3. They may not look exactly as good as the top developed games on those platforms, but they definitely look good enough to be on there. If you take maybe a game that didn't have as much money in the development, the some of these games on the Tegra 3 that definitely hold their own against that. Games like Mad Fingers Dead Trigger, Shadow Gun, just games look wonderful. I mean, I don't really know in any other ways how well I can put it. The water, the effects, they just look wonderful. I almost would say, the people who have to really worry about these tablets, like the Nexus 7, would be, Sony and Nintendo, because with having a tablet like this, I really don't see why you would need a PlayStation Vita or a Nintendo DS. I just, this tablet also works with the OnLive gamepad. So if you download the OnLive app, you're really getting console quality games, and throw this thing on a stand and hook up the controller, and you've got dedicated gaming. I mean, you have hardcore gaming. Now, the quad-core Tegra 3 processor isn't the most powerful when it comes to GPU. It definitely isn't as powerful as the A5 chip that's inside the iPad, and maybe even the Exynos processor that Samsung has. But the one thing that I was alluding to that before is that the NVIDIA has such a strong support from developers, and that really, when you really think about gaming on any platform, that's really what you're gonna have to focus on more, because what good is great graphics if you have no games for it? And that's one thing I wish Samsung would kind of pick that up a little bit more, because they obviously in the Android world have the greatest screens and chips as far as GPU is concerned, for graphics in mobile gaming and stuff. But no, they just haven't picked up as much as NVIDIA, or dedicated as much time and resources as NVIDIA. Qualcomm also, Qualcomm is a much bigger company than NVIDIA, and I mean, if they started writing those checks to developers, you could really see their platforms take off a lot more than they have as far as gaming is concerned. But right now the king is the NVIDIA, and it's kind of rightfully so, because NVIDIA has a very strong gaming in the computer world. So it's kind of just like they're probably leveraging some of that in the mobile space, which is for us, that's great, because these games, they really do look awesome. It's almost amazing how much graphics have gotten better than back in the day. I mean, I remember when Android first started, there's no way you could have games that look like this now. I mean, what I'm really excited about is for the next Nexus, because with graphics this good, I can only imagine how well the graphics are going to look in the Tegra 4, which should be out, sometime towards the end of the year, beginning of next year. Um, and but you can just expect more and more good games for the Tegra 3, especially the Ouya console that's going to be released later on in 2013. I think it's the first half that it's going to be released, but that's based on an NVIDIA Tegra 3 chip, and it's supposed to disrupt the gaming market. And so you're seeing all this flood of developers chiming in on how much they want to support the Ouya console, which is featuring that Tegra 3 processor. So this Nexus 7, as far as gaming, I would really say, like, for as far as future proof, this thing is going to have a lot of support, a whole lot of support for a long time to come. So you definitely can't go wrong with gaming. This is a gaming powerhouse. It should be. If you're not even into Android and you're just into gaming, and you're in the market for a PlayStation Vita, a Nintendo 3DS, or anything like that, then you definitely owe it to yourself to take a look at the Nexus 7. Now at $199, it's a great deal. I would say if you're into downloading these games and you're big into gaming, though, you might want to go with the 16 gigabit version, because 8 gigs, you're really not even getting 8 gigs. When you first power on the device and you check your memory, you have something like, I want to say 5.9 gigabytes of space. You don't have access to the full 8 gigs, and these game downloads are getting bigger and bigger. I think the recent Batman Rises, the game, that the official movie game that was released for Android, I think it's something like close to 2 gigs. So you figure something like that's going to take half of your space. So you definitely want to get up to the 16 gig, which I'm figuring maybe about 13 gigs after you take out the partition space for the OS. So you want to keep that in mind if you're thinking about getting the Nexus 7. 8 gigs works out perfectly fine for me. I play a lot of games, but I maximize cloud storage. So with Google Drive and Box.net and Dropbox, I've probably got about 100 gigs of free cloud storage between Box.net and Dropbox. So and that's not even including Google Drive. So you can do a lot, especially if you're more not leaning towards gaming, and you're going to be more of just reading books and maybe trying to be a little bit productive on this tablet. Then I think that you'll be great with the 8 gig and saving that $50, maybe grabbing you a screen protector, because I don't really recommend you getting a case for this, because it has a rubbery backing already on the Nexus 7, but it does need a screen protector. It gets fingerprints like a bad boy, and you can definitely notice them when you're playing with the device and the screen is turned on. So you might want to invest in a screen protector. So this has been my review of the Nexus 7, and I can't recommend it enough. And you guys stay tuned. We'll have lots more videos on the Nexus 7, gaming, rooting this thing, all sorts of content on the Nexus 7. So my name is Damien. This has been Hosh Online, and I will see you guys next video. Peace.